There should be a guy in here. No, there isn't.
Among the paperwork which adorned the notice board was something which caught my eye. It was a delivery note from Condor Transglobal, and the address was Coromante City. The only interesting thing I found was a small brass key.
But it is interesting.
It was locked.
Not for long.
The little brass key didn't fit the lock.
God damn it. You could do your lockpick thing. It's a cheap lock. Okay. Is there anything in the boxes?
All the crates were firmly sealed.
We need a crowbar, George.
Whoa! Don't shoot! The little guy had a blowpipe. That confirmed my suspicions about what had happened to Nico. I waited for him to shoot me, but it didn't happen. Instead, he seemed to want to tell me something. What? What do you want? He seemed excited, almost desperate. What did he want so bad? Hi, I'm not going to hurt you.
Quaramonte!
Is that where you're from? Coromante City?
Quaramonte! Quaramonte!
Okay.
So, George, being the only American not to carry a gun, has to use his charm and his wits.
What does this key unlock?
Huh?
Oh!
Hey, you're manacled. Who did this? That big thug? I'm gonna set you free, okay? Hey, come back here!
Can you pick up the blowpipe?
The little guy had gone to ground amongst the stack of crates.
We did pick up the manacles though, right?
All the crates were firmly sealed.
Coromante City. Whoa, George, you just phased through the elevator. I didn't know that was possible. Right, the camera's not going to give me any more.
It was the set of manacles I'd removed from the little Indian's ankles. It was the metal cone I'd taken from the chimney of the watchman's hut. It was the box of biscuits I'd taken from the watchman's hut. Gourmet dog, the snack your dog would bake himself. Sure, as if I'd let a stupid dog loose in the kitchen. There was a cute picture of a boxer dog wearing oven mittens. It was an elevator to the upper floor.
Okay, we're going. Press the button. But who knows what's up here? Oh, a statue. What's in the box?
Just in time. Interrupting the beam of light kept the doors from closing and stopped anyone from using the elevator. But what now?
That's really clever, George. The box of dog biscuits in front of it?
Wrong.
Stop being a prick.
The crate bore the familiar logo of Condor Transglobal, but no clues to its contents.
Okay, it has to be time for these to shine, right? We can wrap these over the photo.
That wouldn't work.
No. The cap?
No, that's wrong.
I need you to push the box.
There. That would keep the doors from closing.
I thought as soon as we moved, the doors would start to close, but obviously not. Okay, we're fine. We need that crowbar.
I was wrestling with the small crate when I noticed the label on its side. Danger. Live contents do not drop.
Spiders.
No chance. Whatever those crates contained, they were heavy.
What is the
The statue
statue?
looked way too heavy for me to move. The
But what's
statue
it
looked
of?
as if it was Central or South American in origin.
So we're obviously heading out that way. You could lift it and put it down.
I didn't want to risk dropping the crate and releasing its live contents.
Can we...
There wasn't enough room to move the handle. There wasn't much I could do with a pulley that didn't have any rope.
So we need some rope. I've got a worm. If that's any
A
use.
sturdy beam was jammed across the doors. These doors were not going to open.
So we need to move the pulley across to get some rope to lift that. We can't move that. We can't pull that.
An unmarked switch. Tempting.
I say press it. Ah, a door. Smart.
There was an arc-shaped scratch on the floor, as if a door had been opened in the nearby wall.
Give it a kick,
My fingers
pull the
traced
shove.
the outline of a secret door in the wall. Then I found a small round stud, which was set flush to the surrounding wooden paneling.
Nice.
Just as I'd hoped. A secret room.
And that's where they held Nico.
Nico!
That's where they're holding Nico. Bonus comic artwork. Cool. Yeah, take the tape
Hold
off.
still. This might hurt a little.
Ow!
Think yourself lucky you don't have a mustache.
Thank God it's you, George. How did you find me?
I'll
They've
explain
definitely
later.
changed the
We have to
voice
get out of
actress.
here.
Where's Pablo, the big guy?
Out cold. Too much wine doesn't agree with him. Are you okay?
Of course I'm not okay. Untie me this instant. George, what are you doing?
Will you look at this?
Put it down and untie me.
Do you know what it is?
No, but it's been watching me for the last 24 hours. Pablo put it there. To scare me, I think.
It was a small statue of a kneeling figure in an ornate headdress. The head was hideous, with huge staring eyes set in a decomposing face. Hey! Somebody's marketing Labano dolls.
George, untie me now.
And we now have rope.
There. How you feeling?
Oh, thanks, George. How on earth did you find me?
I knew Ubier had been in Marseille. But never mind about me. How about you tell me exactly what's going on, starting with that Mayan stone?
I picked it up from one of Kazak's men in Paris. I was expecting a consignment of narcotics.
Drugs?
Yes. The proof I needed to expose Karzak's smuggling operation. I'd set it up to act as his courier, and once I had the proof, I planned to go straight to Inspector Moo. But instead of the dope I'd expected, they sent me that stone instead. And to find out more, I called Professor Oublier, who invited me to his mansion. At least, I thought it was Oublier.
I don't get it. If Karzak's business is drugs, why is he so desperate to get his hands on that stone?
Maybe it has some significance to the local people in Central America. It could be Karzak's means of getting them to work for him. Anyway, we've got to get out of here.
Nico, wait!
Anything else in this room before we leave, George?
We can't use the elevator. If that thug Pablo's recovered, he'll be waiting for us.
We've got to do something. Where does that door lead to?
I'm not sure.
And this is where our daring heroics come into play.
It would be much easier to attach the rope to the statue first.
Okay, easy enough. Don't knock that box of live things. Oh, really?
There wasn't much I could do with a pulley that didn't have any rope.
But we have the rope now.
The rope wasn't long enough to reach the pulley.
So we need to pump this up, so we need to move that box.
It was a flint carving of a grotesque figure with large, evil eyes.
We haven't picked anything else up, have we? Oh!
The statue looked way too heavy for me to move.
That's not a hole. Right, okay. Can we both push this?
No chance. Whatever those crates contained, they were heavy.
Give me a hand with this.
Did I hear you refer to Inspector Moo?
Yes, you remember him?
Yeah.
Well, of course I do. But I thought he was dead.
Oh no, he reappeared after the broken sword case had blown over. When he found out who was in with the Neo-Templars, he went into hiding. Moo knew more than was good for him.
Does he know about our involvement with the case?
If he does, he's not telling. Still, he got a sudden promotion.
Oh god.
Tell me about this Karzak guy.
Well, I saw him for only a few minutes, but he frightened me. I got the impression that Pablo was nervous when he was around too. His eyes, they're like a wild animal's, like a tiger. That's what scared me most about him.
Like
He looked so
calm.
unpredictable and dangerous.
Did that Indian guy mistreat you?
If you forget about the abduction, verbal threats, and bondage, no.
Well, what about the little guy?
I don't think he knows where he is or what he's doing here. The big guy, Pablo, he brought Titipoco from the jungle.
Titty what?
Titipoco. That's what I heard Pablo call the dwarf.
Okay. Tell me what you know about Condor.
Condor Transglobal exports Aztec and Mayan relics from Central America to Europe. But that's just a cover for the real business. Drug smuggling.
What proof do you have?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Did you know Oubier's wife was a film star?
No, I didn't know he was married. What happened to her?
She died. In mysterious circumstances, apparently.
How mysterious.
I heard she was murdered. Possibly by Oubier himself.
A murderer, huh? André said he was something of a celebrity.
Are we going to ask?
I found these in your bag.
Oh, they were a gift.
I know. I read the note.
God knows what was going through André's mind.
I think that's quite plain enough.
Fair enough. We still have her lipstick that apparently we can't give back to her.
Look, The little guy downstairs was chained up with these.
That must have been Pablo's doing. I don't blame him, though. That little guy is dangerous.
You're still sore about that poison dart?
Of course I'm sore.
I just had an idea, though.
The short chain stopped the cuffs reaching from the statue to the winch.
But if we rope, manacle, winch... Oh, come on. Figure it out. What's that?
It was the strip of masking tape which the big Indian had used to gag Nico.
Why have we picked that up? I thought I was being clever. You hook that round the pulley and you tie the rope to it. Obviously not. What it wants us to do
There wasn't
is...
much I could do with a pulley that didn't have any rope.
Please lift up the pallet. And I can't do anything with the manacles here.
The rope wasn't long enough to reach the pulley.
These buttons don't do anything, do they? No. You're gonna have to move the box, George.
I didn't want to risk dropping the crate and releasing its live contents.
Well, you're gonna have to. I need her to help me push this crate, but I don't know how to instigate that.
Do you recognize this?
Is that the dart which knocked me out?
That's right. I kept it as a souvenir. Have you any idea who this little statue is supposed to be?
I'm not very well acquainted with Mayan deities, George. But whatever his name, he sure is ugly.
Do you know where Condor is based?
In Central America. A place called Quaramonte.
I saw that
Quaramonte
name
Sea.
on a docket downstairs.
That's where we need to go. But Nico, help me with this. He doesn't want to break the crate and spill out the... No.
It was a large crate with no label. The crate was labeled Danger. Live contents. Do not drop. There were small holes in the top and sides and scratchy noises coming from inside. I couldn't move the crate until I'd blocked the light beam with something else.
Of course. Yes, yes, yes. Now it starts to make sense.
Hopefully, the tape would prevent those doors from closing and stop the Indian from being able to call the elevator.
Then we push that back. We put that box on there. We push that box. We do the pallet truck. I can hear scurrying as well. I'm amazed that tape still has sticky. Right, a couple of pumps on this.
The pallet rose about 6 inches off the floor, and I said a silent prayer to whoever had discovered the power of hydraulics,
What on earth are you doing?
trying to raise the statue
Roll with
so I
it.
can hook it to that pulley.
Is that really going to help us?
I like to keep myself occupied in times of stress.
I know how this is going to go. No, we're going to have to lower the truck first,
I
aren't we?
didn't want to remove the rope from the pulley.
No. We're going to lower the pallet truck and then we're going to send the statue through the door. Nico, I would not stand there.
It was too heavy for me to move on my own.
Give me a hand.
Could you give me a hand to push this statue?
What for?
This, my dear, is our passport to freedom.
If you say so, dear.
She's not very happy, is she? I suppose if you've been held for 24, 48 hours, you wouldn't be either.
Okay. Push! Great teamwork.
Nice to be working with you again, Mr. Stobbart.
Let's get out of here. I'm waiting for the pulley to come back and hit someone. Oh no, it's gone.
I thought about hanging from the cable with my bare hands, but it was too far to the other end of the cable to escape that way.
I agree. That's what these are for.
Nico, I have a great idea.
Where's the Indiana Jones music? Success?
Josh, where have you been?
Never mind that. Do you have the Mayan stone?
Maybe I have, but,
Don't argue, André. Give the stone to George.
well, of course, if you say so, Nicole.
Thank you so much, André.
George, he told me you'd been kidnapped, my dear. I'm glad to see he was mistaken.
Oh, but it was true. If it hadn't been for George, I wouldn't be here now.
It's not finished yet. Karzak's thugs will be back for that stone, you can bet. The best lead that we have is Caramonte City.
Caramonte? It's in Central America. That's where Ubier gets his artifacts.
That's all we needed to know. Come on, George.
Oh, I wanted him to have a look at the stone. More globe-trotting later.
Caramonte, the traveler's rear entrance to Central America. Well, that's how it was translated in the brochure. We didn't know what we were looking for, but the offices of Condor Transglobal seemed a good place to start.
Right, we've turned the music down quite a bit. I'm gonna turn it down even more. Oh, there's a goat. Oh no.
Hey, it's market day. I don't see any cabs. Let's ask someone how to get to Caramonte City.
Okay. Keep your eyes peeled for any sign of Condor Transglobal.
Are we splitting up? See, the music is... Don't know if that changes anything. It's still very loud. I might have to knock it down in OBS. It was a goat. I hate goats. Do we have anything? Oh, we still have the worm and stuff. Do you want a worm? Okay.
In Caramonte, defacing a poster was probably a capital offense.
I like the music. Pearl!
Hey, cheer up, guys. What's with the long faces?
Our pipe player has been arrested and thrown in jail.
Poor Miguel. He never broke the law in his life.
Why was Miguel put in jail?
For playing folk music.
What?
It's true, senor. He insisted on playing traditional Caramonte music, even though it's illegal.
Why don't you try playing a tune to cheer yourselves up?
No, we should be looking for real jobs.
We could earn 10 times as much down the mines. My cousin Ramirez was earning 8 pesos an hour.
Before he lost his legs in the accident.
That doesn't sound
Tell me
good.
about the accident at the mine.
There was an explosion at Teoculcan. 30 miners were buried alive.
They got some of them out, though.
2 of them, including your cousin. and they left half of him behind.
It's grim. I might be back. Let's go talk to Pearl.
George Stobbart, well, of all the...
Mrs. Henderson. Boy, this is some coincidence, huh?
When you've been married to a fruitcake like Dwayne as long as I have, you stop believing in coincidence.
I'd met Pearl and Dwayne on the other side of the globe in Syria. He was an army veteran who suspected he was working for the CIA, but wasn't sure. She was less obviously deranged.
How is he doing?
Is Dwayne here with you, Mrs. Henderson?
Why, sure, I couldn't leave him home alone. Since Dwayne came back from the war, we couldn't bear to be apart.
So, where is he now?
We ain't speaking.
Why aren't you speaking to Dwayne?
Because he's an old spoil sport sourpuss. I want to visit one of those old pyramid places, but Dwayne says he has to stay in town.
Right. And you don't want to go on your own?
Well, there's no point in going to the pyramid if there's no one around to take my picture.
What brings you to Quaramonte, Pearl?
What takes me just about anywheres. The market.
You drove 2,000 miles to go shopping?
Shopping is my role in the economy of the Great Design, George.
Is Dwayne still working for the CIA?
If he is, he doesn't know it. He's what they call a snoozer.
Don't you mean a sleeper?
No, this is different. He used to think he worked for them, but the psychotherapy cured him of that. What he doesn't realize is that now he really does work for them. At least that's the way I understood it.
Great. Do you know what this is?
What do you make of this statue, Pearl?
Hoo-wee, that's a spitting image of Dwayne's brother Sheridan. A little less body hair, maybe, but it's him all right.
What do you know about the eclipse? We're in the right
Take
part
a
of the
look
world
at this
now.
news cutting, Pearl.
You'll have to read it to me, George. I left my specs in a gay bar in Santa Barbara.
Well, it's about an eclipse of the sun,
You're
which is
wearing
due
them.
to occur in a few weeks' time.
You'd think the government would warn us about these kind of things.
It's not dangerous or anything. Apparently, the best place to view the eclipse is right here in Quaramonte.
Oh, my.
She didn't appear to be the slightest bit interested.
Fair enough.
Catch you later, Pearl. Hey, Nico!
We're going to come out and have a look around the market. Oh wow, this is right out of the 50s.
Just as I have been instructed, Professor.
Check out the mullet.
With the
Professor.
mine closed down, there'll be no one around to observe your excavations. Ah, I have visitors.
Just remember what I told you, General. There's really no need to make a martyr out of that man.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Senor. Welcome to Quaramonte.
Thanks. My name's George Stobbart from California.
But what is this? An angel come down to earth.
Nico Collard.
Great.
Enchanté, mon général.
Pardon me, senorita, but I couldn't help myself.
Look, we'd like to ask you a few questions.
You've come to the right place, senor. Tourist information. General Graciento, at your service.
Graciento. Okay, good to know.
Who was the guy you were talking to when we arrived?
Weird question to start with. That was Ubier.
Senor, like yourselves.
Did
Thought
you
it was.
say Ubier?
Si, senor. Professor Ubier, a French archaeologist.
Okay, where's he gone?
What's Ubier doing in Quaramonte?
Researching our rich and glorious past, senor. The professor is planning an expedition to some Mayan ruins. He came to see me to get an excavation permit.
Good to know.
This is the tourist office? It says police on the sign outside.
It is both, senor. I am a man of many parts.
I can see that, General.
Alright, calm down, Nico.
I hear there was an accident at the mine a few months ago.
That's correct.
A lot of men killed, weren't there?
A few.
30?
Barely 1% of the working population.
still a lot.
Are there any ruins around the city?
Of course, Signor. Quaramonte has everything.
I have a friend who wants to visit an historical site.
Ronaldo will only be too pleased to conduct a guided tour. When he's dealt with today's paperwork, of course.
Of course. Tell me about the folk music.
Is it true there's a restriction on music in Quaramonte?
Yes, there is. An emergency measure introduced by Nuestra Senora.
Folk music is a link with the past for some of these people. Take away their musical roots and what do they got left?
Easy listening.
You think easy listening could replace a musical heritage hundreds of years old?
Why not? It happened in your country.
He's not wrong. I don't want to show him that.
Have you heard of a guy called Karzak?
No. No, I never heard of him.
Do you know anything about the forthcoming eclipse, General?
Such things do not interest me, Senor.
Okay, I mean, he's fairly honest about
I'll
it.
be back.
Well, we have a safe that I'm going to have to get into somehow.
Hi, I'm George Stobbart.
Hello, Signor. How can I help you?
Pyramid trip?
Are there any ancient pyramids near Quaramonte?
Si, Signor. But it's not very impressive. It's in ruins.
That's perfect.
Can we go?
Would you be willing to give a guided tour of the ruins?
I can't. The General would have a fit if I left all this paperwork.
Might he know what this is? I don't want to ask the
Do you
general.
recognize this statue?
Tezcatlipoca. The night wind. Take it away, Signor. That stone is cursed.
Huh.
You know anything about this eclipse?
No, Signor. El General keeps me in the dark about most things.
See what you did there.
So long.
We're going to have to distract them both and get in that safe somehow.
You came on a little strong with the General.
I was merely flattering his ego, George. Every man has his Achilles heel.
Maybe.
It's true.
But that guy's weakness isn't in his foot. Labano tells me he's been seeing a lot of you.
We meet sometimes for lunch, a drink. After you'd gone back to the States, I was pretty lonely, you know.
Lonely? You must have been desperate. Couldn't you just visit the zoo or something? That man we saw talking to the General was Oubier. Didn't you recognize him?
I never met him, remember? The guy I called in Paris claimed to be Oubier, but he sounded nothing like the man in the police station. Maybe the professor really is innocent.
Nah, it's too much of a coincidence that he's here in Quaramonte.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Take a look at this.
She's the smart
Mon
one.
Dieu! Where did you get that kind of money?
It's not mine. I found that statement at Oubier's house.
Oh, that's it?
Do you have any theories about this stone?
I think that design represents a dog, a Mexican dog.
So, this is the sacred Chihuahua stone? Sheesh.
Let's carry on. We're going to talk to people at the market, I think. A part of me thinks we feed the dog biscuits to the goat, because goats will eat
Do
anything.
you have crabs?
No, only fish.
Nice fish.
Thanks.
If by some remote chance I ever need a fish, I'll be back. See you later.
So this is... I want, like, trinkets and tat and stuff like that.
Those things are gourds, aren't they?
See.
Hey! Mind the footwear, lady.
Okay, we're not going to get any gourds today. Who's the man?
Hi. Lovely bread.
¿Qué?
Bread, pain?
Sí, pan.
Maybe I'll come back later, when I'm hungry.
Let's go talk to this guy. Looks a little shady. Are we gonna talk?
Hi there. What have you got for sale?
¿Qué?
I said, what have you got? Oh, never mind.
He looks very out of place.
Hi.
You wanna buy something?
No, not really.
I got
What was going on with his neck?
Buy cabbage, senor.
I don't think so. I didn't come all this way to buy vegetables. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Aye, Tezcatlipoca. Put it away, senor. Tezcatlipoca brings nothing but evil.
The poor guy
Tezcatlipoca.
was so freaked, he didn't even mention his cabbages. Listen, have you heard of Condor Transglobal?
No. Buy a cabbage. I'll give you a discount on bulk purchases.
I'm not into cabbages. See ya.
There's no point in talking to the guard. Do we go speak to the people at the mine?
Inside the hut was a chair and a small table.
So nothing of use. Can I give the goat a dog biscuit? No. Go up here?
Hey, Nico!
Hola, señora.
Hi. We were wondering...
I was talking to the lady, Chico.
She was.
Hi, my name is Nico Collard.
Concha Garcia. How can I help you, sister?
The corporation I represent is considering a major investment in Quaramonte. Your advice
is why
as the
she's the
head of
smart
an
one.
obviously successful concern is precisely what I'm after. My assistant, Mr. Stobbart, has a few questions he'd like to ask you.
Do you
Ubier.
know Professor Ubier?
Yes. I understand he is about to embark on an archaeological expedition. He hired some equipment from me earlier today.
I overheard him talking to the general. I think they're working together.
What? If I'd known that, I wouldn't have hired out the equipment. Now, why would the general be interested in an archaeologist?
That's what I'd like to know.
Can you tell me anything about this statue?
It is Tezcatlipoca, the god of death and pestilence. That fetish would be considered by many to be a bad omen.
But not you.
Can you tell me about the accident at the mine?
Accident? It was sabotage. Somebody wanted my mine closed down for good.
By the general.
Do you have any evidence that the mine was sabotaged?
Not yet, but I'll get to the bottom of it. There'd been trouble at that mine for several months. The workforce was getting smaller every day. Someone had started a rumor among the men that the mine was cursed. Now the entire operation has been closed down.
Where's the site of the mine?
Several days upriver at a remote area known as Teoculcan.
Have you heard of a man named Karzak?
No? Who is he?
He's the reason we came to Quaramonte. We think he's running a drug ring.
Well, I hope you find him, but I've never heard the name before.
Okay, we'll ask her about the stone.
Does this stone mean anything to you?
I think it is a spirit stone carved by a Mayan priest, no? I don't know which of their many gods it represents.
That's useful, though.
Do you recognize the icon on this label?
Condor Transglobal.
Did the company operate here in Caramonte?
Yes, they ran an old container ship, the Mayan Princess.
Do you know who owned Condor Transglobal?
I've no idea.
Ah.
Have you heard about the forthcoming eclipse?
I don't take much interest in things like that. One of the boys might know about it.
I don't know why it's an option.
Would you be interested in these panties? They look about your size.
Is that your best line, Chico?
I'm
Wow,
serious.
George, no.
They were an unwanted gift.
Put them away before you get overexcited.
It's a very George thing to do. I guess we're good. Can we speak to the boys?
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Consolidated Mining. If you are planning to stay in Cuaramonte City, may I recommend the Consolidated Mining Experience, an interactive hands-on tour of one of our deepest mines, with talking tour guides available in 3 different languages.
A tour of a mine.
Well, this is a mining company. What else did you expect?
It might not be a bad
Do you
idea.
know anything about the eclipse that's due soon?
Me? No, senor.
Do you know where I could find Senor Karzak?
No, senor.
But maybe I want a tour of the mine.
Do you know anything about the eclipse?
Yes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I heard it's going to be pretty spectacular.
It's in a few weeks' time, isn't it?
9 days.
Thanks.
Oh, wow. These guys aren't going to know who Karzak is.
Did you know there's an eclipse of the sun in a few weeks' time?
Yeah, Joe told me about it. He's having a party and we're all invited. Me and the boys are dressing up as evil monks.
Yeah?
Oh, God.
Cool.
That's a reference to the first game.
Are you looking forward to the eclipse of the sun?
Not especially. Are you?
I don't know. I've never seen one. All I know about eclipses is that you shouldn't try to view them with the naked eye.
Please. Go away and let me get on with my work.
Ever heard of a guy called Karzak?
Can't you see I'm busy? If I don't finish this stock report, the boss will be mad as hell.
She's not going to let me in the cupboard. I'm going to get into trouble.
Keep out of there. That's where the explosives are stored.
Okay, that's good to know. So we can get hold of explosives. Potentially. We've got a safe in the Policia hut. We don't know where Dwayne is. And I still don't know how Pearl fits into this. So this is just the other side of the street. There he is. Is that Dwayne? No.
Hi, I'm George Stobbart. What can you tell me about the mining company?
The general closed down one of their mines after the explosion. Lots of folks lost their lives.
That's the
I was
cousin.
lucky. I only lost my legs.
I'm not going to show him that. You might know what this
Can you
is.
tell me anything about this stone?
That's obsidian. It's a volcanic rock which has cooled so fast that...
Yeah, look, I'm not interested in geology.
You're not. I suppose you want to know about the carved picture on it.
That's right.
Then the guy you should talk to is the professor. He's over there, talking to the bozo in the truck.
Thanks. It is Dwayne.
Stealing trucks wasn't my style. Professor Ubier?
Yes? Who are you?
My name is Stobbart. George Stobbart.
I thought that face was familiar. Remember me, George? Dwayne Henderson.
Hi, Dwayne. Just a moment. I have a few questions to ask the professor here.
Alright, Professor, come on.
Can you
You're the key.
identify this statue, Professor?
Oh, yes. Tezcatlipoca, the Lord of Darkness.
A Central American god, right?
A supreme deity. Tezcatlipoca means, literally, smoking mirror. There. You see the mirror shield in his left hand? The Mayans believed he could look into the mirror and see into the hearts of men. He was the wind which came howling in the night in search of victims, and victims they gave him by the thousand.
Human sacrifices?
Men, women, children, animals, anything that bled. The steps of his temple ran red with the blood of sacrifices. The Mayans have a legend that says he'll return one day. I hope I'm not around to see it.
That's freaky.
What are you doing in Caramonte, Professor?
Seeking Mayan artifacts. Central American history has been my life's work.
Does the name Karzak mean anything to you?
Yes, I know him. In fact, if it wasn't for Karzak, I wouldn't be here.
What?
He's financing my expedition.
Have you ever employed a Central American butler or servant?
I've never employed any kind of servant, monsieur.
Have you heard of Nico?
What do you know about my girlfriend's abduction?
I don't know what you're talking about.
She was invited to your mansion in Paris.
Not by me, she wasn't. I haven't been home for nearly 7 months.
Tell me about your wife, Professor.
Please, I don't want to talk about her.
You shot her, didn't you?
No! I loved Carol. She meant the world to me.
Oh, I thought that would just break down the entire conversation.
Can you tell me anything about this stone?
Where did you get that?
That's my business.
How much do you want for it?
It's not for sale.
So he's not going to tell me anything
Take
about
a look
it.
at this, Professor. What have you got to say about that?
Where did you get this?
Never mind that. How do you explain these withdrawals?
I left my financial affairs in the hands of my secretary.
Including the withdrawal of funds in cash from your personal account?
I trust Gwyneth implicitly.
And why Marseille? Why the very place my girlfriend was taken?
That's obvious, Stobbart. We are both the victims of the same devious plot.
What plot?
Are we?
I have no idea.
Do you see this label?
Yes. It refers to a company named Condor. What of it?
I traced that company here to Quaramonte. Do you know where I can find the offices of Condor Transglobal?
The company no longer exists. They went bankrupt recently.
Oh.
I have proof that you are directly involved with Condor.
I used them as shippers to transport artifacts to a gallery in Paris. Beyond that, I have no connection with the company, which, as I said, no longer exists.
He's not hiding anything, is he? Not really.
Do you know anything about this eclipse, Professor?
Of course. It's not the reason I'm here in Quaramonte, but I'm looking forward to seeing it all the same.
What's your interest in the eclipse, Professor?
Oh, it's purely a layman's curiosity. History is my subject, not astronomy. But I've been fascinated by the movements of the heavenly bodies since I was a child. I wouldn't miss a total eclipse for the world.
Does the eclipse have some special significance for you?
For me? No. For the ancient Mayans, it marked the end of the Fifth Age.
Perhaps we should be celebrating.
Ah, no. The end of each age heralds destruction on a global scale. The fifth is the final age, ending in the total destruction of the Earth.
Cheery thought. Dwayne?
Are you still working for... you know who?
Who's that, George? You know I'm retired.
Oh, nothing. Forget it. I confused you with somebody else.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Did you drive all the way down here?
Hell no. Pearl did the driving while I followed the maps. The way she handled the wheel, you'd think she'd been trucking half her life.
I spoke to Pearl earlier.
Yeah? Did she mention that we had a kind of falling out?
Yes, she did.
She'll get over it.
Do you think the general was involved with Condor?
Hell no. And if he's a general, I'm a Buddhist. No, that fella's just a mouthpiece for the real power in Quaramonte.
I feel like we've missed something.
Do you know anything about a shipping company called Condor Transglobal?
I never heard of it, son.
So the general is nothing but a puppet?
He's like Pinocchio before he met the Blue Rinse Fairy. Strictly strings and wood.
Who's pulling the strings?
His mother. Better known as La Presidenta, the dictator.
Okay.
Does the name Karzak mean anything to you?
Sounds like a comic book villain to me, son.
He's the man behind Condor, and the rat who kidnapped Nico.
You know, the first time I met you, I was deeply impressed with your naive simplicity. I said to Pearl, if we ever had kids, I would have wanted a boy like George. But I underestimated you, son.
Thanks, I think.
What's in the truck, Dwayne?
Oh, just camping equipment. Sleeping bags and tents. Me and Pearl always hankered after a taste of the great outdoors.
Aren't you worried about camping out in a tropical jungle?
We had a trial run in West Virginia. This'll be a breeze in comparison.
Okay.
Did you know that traditional music is illegal in Caramonte?
Is that so? Seems reasonable to me.
No, really. The leader of the band in the square has been imprisoned just because of the music he played.
I don't know who you've been talking to, but that fella, Miguel, he's an agitator.
What's the real reason the musician was imprisoned?
Handed out subversive literature at the mines. That so-called general was waiting for Miguel when he got back into town. Marched him off to jail at gunpoint on a charge of inciting a riot.
Huh. Oh, it's an option.
What do you think of these panties, Dwayne?
Lord, hot stuff, George. You buy those for your girl?
Figured that would be the response.
The guy we know in Paris bought them for her.
Oh, you're a threesome then. Why are you looking at me like that, George?
Forget it.
What's their connection? What's their connection?